fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, a person that you claim that you cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. I just know, character take you a long way. And I just I just don't agree with the character, actions that he took.
The problem is Terence Crawford now is really only going to want a fight for big money, and there's only certain fights that can generate that kind of money.
Terence Crawford goes off on Floyd Mayweather after the sparring video leaks, stating he doesn't like some of the things Floyd has done. Crawford makes it apparent that he thought someone who says they are okay with him would show him more respect. He expresses his anger and frustration over the public release of private training sessions, asserting that a fellow champion should not have taken such an action.
I had disliked a lot of things that he was saying, and how he was acting, being that, me, I'm a real individual. I just felt like, we was all cool at one point in time. And, when the Errol Spence fight was getting mentioned and talked about and, signed, I just felt like he just did a lot of fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, a person that you claim that you cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. I just know, character take you a long way. And I just don't agree with the character, actions that he took.
Eddie Hearn's suggestion that Terence should retire shows that people in the boxing business don't agree on what Crawford should do next. Hearn likes that Crawford's legacy is still intact. He has achieved victories in multiple divisions, defeated elite opponents, and silenced debates about his status as one of the greatest boxers of all time. Similar to other renowned champions, Crawford has the potential to uphold his reputation by retiring at the pinnacle of his abilities. But Hearn also knows how appealing it is to have financial security. Crawford might make record-breaking amounts of money even if the fights aren't about legacy, because of Saudi financing and cross-promotional events that have a big impact on boxing presently. The lure of events worth millions of dollars can be stronger than the purity of legacy. And Hearn knows how to strike this balance better than other promoters.
Sorry?
Should Crawford retire?
Do you know what? Someone said the other day, and it's very true, because I actually said it about Usyk. We've got a real tendency, haven't we, to kind of try and retire people off? Do you know what I mean? Like I said with Usyk, I think now he should retire. And everyone's like, why do you want him to retire? It's like, I just think it's a great way to go out. I actually also think that Crawford could move down and win a world title at 160. And that would make him, what, 6 division champ? 5? 35, 40, 47, 54, 6 division champion. But the problem is Terence Crawford now is really only going to want a fight for big money, and there's only certain fights that can generate that kind of money. So Shakur, he was obviously very close to him, seemed to say so maybe that's it.
Floyd Schofield thinks that Terence Crawford should stop now that he is ahead. He thinks that Crawford has already done everything that makes a boxer outstanding. His accomplishments include becoming the best pound-for-pound fighter, winning titles in several weight classes, and defeating the finest fighters of his era. Schofield isn't doubting Crawford's abilities or legacy. He's only saying that going on might be too risky. He says that if Crawford does fight again, it should only be against new, motivated challengers like Frank Martin or Virgil Ortiz. This argument shows a change in the generation of combatants, as younger ones want to check if Crawford can still handle the new wave's aggressiveness. But Schofield's message is one of respect. He knows that Crawford has nothing left to prove and thinks that if he walks away now, his record would be perfect. Crawford's legacy is already safe and best protected at its peak.
I feel like Crawford, he could retire if he wants. I feel like if he does get another fight, I would love to see him in there with Virgil. Virgil or Duran, I feel like those are both great fights, but those are fights we just got to see. We just got to see those fights before. I feel like those are the only 2 fights I would entertain.
Not a rematch? Maybe a rematch with Crawford and Canelo?
I feel like it wasn't close enough. Valid? If it was close, maybe, but it just was like, it wasn't close.
For this idea still sparks passionate disputes among boxing enthusiasts. Online conversations are mostly about the fantasy of Prime Floyd versus Prime Crawford because both were the best at their sport in their day. Floyd was unbeatable because he was a defensive genius and had the best ring IQ. Crawford has been able to beat every opponent because he is flexible and knows how to finish. But the truth is harsh. Mayweather is no longer in his fighting prime and doesn't have the same reflexes or stamina he used to. A modern-day fight would be more of a show than a real test. That's why people talk about the various game aspects. Their dream of their primes fighting is probably going to stay a dream.
So yeah, everybody. So this is a good question that the ring put out. So Terence Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather, a fantasy fight that will never happen. Now, this is a really good question. Who will win between these two? Me personally, if this was old Floyd Mayweather, well, I'm going to say pretty boy Floyd. I'm talking about like the younger version of Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather wins. You're talking probably prime Floyd Mayweather versus prime Terence Crawford. You could see Floyd Mayweather beating Terence Crawford, but you're talking about money Floyd versus Terence Crawford. I see Terence Crawford stopping him in the later rounds due to Floyd Mayweather's passive style and Philly shell. I believe he'll melt. Terence Crawford would just break him, I think. People forget what Manny Pacquiao was able to do on Floyd Mayweather, have success with him certain parts of the fight, and people just need to see, Floyd Mayweather's, I would say, fights, later down in the years. I think Crawford would just be able to break that defense. I don't know. The thing is about Terence Crawford, he has a very, very awkward style, very awkward foot movement and footwork. This is the thing. A lot of people were thinking, no, nobody beats Floyd. Or if you try to compare somebody else, no, this man will beat Floyd. Floyd would beat everybody. I don't think it's a case of Terence Crawford, everybody. I think Terence Crawford would have been the man to actually beat Floyd. Honestly, for what he did to Canelo Alvarez, he beat a 168 Canelo Alvarez. 168 Canelo Alvarez.
Analysts have been quick to stress that statistics and awards, while essential, don't always show who is better in a head-to-head match. Floyd's 50-0 record and undefeated streak are unmatched by most. In contrast, Crawford is the clear winner in other divisions. Floyd never did this in his time. It's hard to compare people because you can't directly compare what they did at different times. Floyd's resume includes big names from across the world and many pay-per-view buys, whereas Crawford's is based on clean, decisive wins. The analysts say that having more accomplishments on paper doesn't mean you're a stronger boxer in the ring. It depends on the situation, the manner, and the time.
Floyd Mayweather versus Terence Crawford is the topic of this video, and someone posted this number of world champion fighters beaten, Floyd with 23, Terence with only 11, but my response to this is being more accomplished does not mean you're better than someone. By example, Canelo has 18 former world champions beaten. Terence has 11. So you could argue that Canelo's more accomplished. Meanwhile, Terence just whooped him over the course of 12 rounds over the weekend. We all saw it. Plus, more accomplished fighters lose to lesser accomplished fighters all the time. So that's a bad argument. Let's talk skill for skill. Terence Crawford has knockout power in both hands. He can switch stances. He's not a stationary target. He has good footwork. He knows how to counterpunch. He knows how to fight on the outside and on the inside. He can make it dirty. He knows how to box and he knows how to fight. There's a difference. Guys like Shakur Stevenson, for example, they know how to box. When it comes to actually getting down and dirty, the jury is still out on one Shakur Stevenson, just by example. Terence Crawford, I think, if you look at the names on Floyd's list here, Manny Pacquiao, Canelo, Marcos Maidana, Cotto, and the list goes on, I think Terence Crawford has a shot at beating all those guys. I don't think anybody on that list jumps off the page and goes, oh my God, I think he smokes Terence Crawford. You can't say that about anybody on any of these guys' lists and names here. So yeah, that's my take on this, man. Maybe the only guy is Gennady Golovkin. I could see Gennady Golovkin giving Terence a really hard fight, especially at that weight. But remember, Canelo lost to Gennady. Gennady shouldn't even be on this list. He's only on the list because the judges are in Canelo's back pocket. So, that's a whole nother argument. But yeah, that's my take on this, guys. Skill for skill, Terence Crawford might be one of the best of all time. And that's okay. Like, it's okay to accept that, guys. It's fine. Let me know what you think in the comments below, whether you agree or disagree. It doesn't matter. Just join the discussion, subscribe for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.
Zab Judah's words mean something since he has fought Mayweather and knows what it takes to be the best. His choice of Crawford as the best player of this age shows that every generation has its own best players. Judah even reminded supporters that Canelo Alvarez once said Crawford might be better than Floyd, which led to a lot of talk. Judah says that Crawford's ability to beat elite opponents in different weight classes shows Crawford demonstrates a wide range of skills as a combatant. Crawford has kept his power, timing, and calmness in every weight class, unlike many boxers who have trouble when they move up in weight. Judah's backing signifies a symbolic transition, acknowledging Crawford's ascendancy as the king. Crawford said that Canelo's perspective is more trustworthy than that of most fans or commentators because he has fought both styles himself. Crawford, on the other hand, made it obvious that the situations were very different. Floyd fought Canelo when he was still young, inexperienced, and learning. Crawford fought him as a mature champion at super middleweight. Yet this is an important difference because it shows how timing can change the outcome of a boxing match. Crawford's victory against a seasoned and experienced Canelo is more significant than Floyd's victory over a younger version of Canelo. By saying this, Crawford discreetly defends his own win while also respecting the history of the Mayweathers.
Punch to knock him out, you know what I'm saying? The size will be a factor. None of that was nothing.
How did you score it?
Huh?
How did you score the fight?
I think I gave Canelo about 3 rounds. About
Really?
3 rounds. Yeah, about 3
Yeah.
rounds. How did you score? You just score about sound about fair?
What's that?
Sounds about right?
I had it closer, but there's loads of different scores.
Okay, I had 2 rounds.
You gave him 2 rounds.
I had 2 rounds. Yeah, he ain't do anything. I gave him a possible 3 rounds. So if I play space, we gave him 2 impossible.
Where did you put him in the all-time list? 5-weight world champion,
Who?
3-weight undisputed, Terence Crawford.
Who?
Terence Crawford.
He's number 1 right now. He's number 1. This is his generation. This is his timeline. He is the king right now.
Just seen in the press conference, Canelo said that Crawford's better than Mayweather. What did you think?
He's not lying. He fought him. He should know. How can somebody tell somebody that fought both of these guys, he know.
Yeah.
If anybody would know, Canelo would know.
What do you think's next for both?
I don't know.
Too early?
I don't know.
You like it a rematch?
Not a rematch. I believe so. Rematches always sound good. But in a rematch, it'll be the same thing.
Yeah. Cool.
Matter of fact, in a rematch, I'm predicting stoppage earlier.
Yeah.
I
think
so too. Yeah, I think so.
Sab,
My boys are dogs,
Appreciate it.
trust me.
thank you.
People Ozan push-ups. I was watching Neil City.
That's right.
They Ozan push-ups.
The analyst said that Mayweather's charm and ability to sell himself as both a hero and a villain made him famous all around the world. His undefeated record was very important because supporters either watched him to see how great he was or to hope for his collapse. Crawford, on the other hand, has never sold a lot of pay-per-view tickets, but experts say this shouldn't take away from how good he is at fighting. Some others even say that Crawford's inherent ability to modify stances, control range, and finish fights decisively may make him better than Floyd. Floyd was careful and defensive, but Crawford is calculated and brutal, which makes him just as hard to beat but more fun to watch.
He was in the ring with both of us, so a lot of people, they can say what they want, but he's actually been in the ring with both of us. One where he felt like he was at the best, and another where he felt like he was at a disadvantage when he had a rehydration clause and he was younger. So, I don't know, I don't go off of that. Floyd is the best fighter, in his era, and I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
One thing that I thought was really interesting about the fight, I always love watching you switch stances as effortlessly as you do. You didn't do that a lot in this fight. You didn't have to. Were you expecting not to have to?
No, I felt like I could have, but why do something when something else is working?
Jeff Mayweather defends Floyd by saying that people frequently forget about the bigger picture when they compare careers. Floyd was no longer at his best when he met Canelo. He was using his experience, reflexes, and timing more than just speed or explosiveness. Even though this happened, Floyd completely neutralized a dangerous young opponent. Something Jeff says should not be forgotten. He thinks it's unfair to compare Floyd's version of Canelo to Crawford's version, because they were both at very different periods in their careers. Jeff's words show that boxing history has often changed, without taking into account the details of each fight.
Well, also, if we remember, Canelo at that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw. And then the other two judges scored it for Floyd, of course.
Yeah, nobody had it.
And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he still took him, into deep waters. So
what was Canelo? What, 20-something? 20 what? 23, 25?
Yeah, he was. Very, very young in the game,
very
obviously.
Young. Yeah, very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah,
to a man that was 30-something years old, 36.
But Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people. But
how are you at the top of your career in your prime? You in your prime? You ain't in your prime when you're at 36. That's not your prime.
Did he lose? I mean,
your prime is in your 20s.
It's different for different people.
Yeah, okay. Well, so, and that's why Canelo is saying what he's saying.
Want to
make himself look like he did something great.
Buddy McGirt's insight got to the heart of what made Crawford so great. He said that Crawford was in charge of every part of the fight, from the speed to the distance to the exchanges. Crawford didn't let Canelo dictate the pace, unlike many of Canelo's former opponents who did. McGirt thought about how Floyd used to outsmart his opponents when he had this much control, but he said that Crawford put his own spin on things by being aggressive and having good finishing instincts. For McGirt, the win represented more than just a win. It was a declaration that Crawford should be included in any conversation about the best technicians in the history of the sport.
Yes.
Like, what fight were they watching?
Right.
I mean, it's. I don't know, man. I don't know what some of these guys be doing in this game, man. Some people, in situations like that, they should ask them, listen, just turn in your license, bro. Because there's no way in hell the fight was that close.
Right.
I mean, come on, man. It's just it's not fair. It's not fair. You get a guy like Terence got here and dominate from beginning to end, and then you find out he needed the last 2 rounds to win. That's scary, man.
It is. And you see how you just mentioned scary. Now, a lot of people are saying, buddy, that type of beating, he's not going to want a rematch. But looking at those gold cards and knowing that, hey, you wasn't too far behind, even though, he did mention that, he's better than Mayweather. But, I mean, what's your thoughts? Do you feel like that was such a beating that Canelo wouldn't want a rematch?
No, I think that, in all honesty, personally, I think that Canelo's at that stage in his career right now, that it's a rematch he don't need. He don't need it. You know what I mean? What we saw that night, that's the stage Canelo's at right now. He's fought everybody, he's did everything, but, he passed the torch to the right guy. You know what I mean? He passed the torch to the right guy. He lost it to Terence fair and square, and he passed the torch. So if you're gonna have another fight, cool, but you don't need to. You have nothing. He has nothing to prove. He fought Terence and nobody else would.
Terence Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather Jr. Who wins this fight? I'm going with Terence Crawford, and I don't think that's unpopular or crazy to say. I think most people will agree with me. I understand Floyd Mayweather has a lot of fans out there, but the truth is, as great as Floyd Mayweather is, Terence Crawford is one of one. And I say that because who else has knockout power in both hands, is able to switch stances between orthodox and southpaw so seamlessly while having great footwork? It's not like Terence Crawford is some stationary target or a flat-footed fighter that's going to be chasing Floyd around. Terence Crawford knows how to cut the ring off. He has tremendous ring IQ. And not only is he a great boxer, but he's a great fighter. He'll be able to make it dirty. If he is on the inside with Floyd, that power will carry him far. And I just don't see how Floyd will be able to beat a Terence Crawford. I really don't see it. I understand Floyd's defense is incredible, but he is smaller than Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford would have a significant reach advantage on Floyd Mayweather. I believe Terence Crawford would also be taller than Floyd Mayweather, as well as all the skillful and technical aspects of what I just laid out prior. So I don't understand how anybody could pick Floyd Mayweather to beat Terence Crawford. Styles make fights, and I believe Terence has the style to beat one Floyd Mayweather. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Whether you agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. Join the discussion, subscribe for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned. Until next time.